Schools and education face many issues today. One of the main issues is funding. Funding not only affects students, but also what resources they have access to and how well their teachers can teach. To get a teacher's perspective on this issue, I interviewed my CT, Shelby Miller. Miss Miller is a 4th grade teacher at Bolin Elementary School in East Peoria. This is her 3rd year teaching and her 2nd year at Bolin. Miss Miller grew up in District 86 and went to Bolin Elementary herself. Miss Miller graduated from Illinois State in 2016 with a degree in elementary education. While at Illinois State, she completed the PDS Student Teaching Program with Unit 5. Through my first few days of clinicals and after conducting an interview with Miss Miller, it was clear to see that although Bolin is a great school, it could greatly benefit from more funding. During the interview, Miss Miller focused primarily on how low funding issues are affecting the ESL students and students who need strong reading supports. Miss Miller stated that currently she has 2 ELL students in her classroom who get pulled out 3 times a week for a 30-minute period. While this pull-out time is extremely beneficial to the students, Ms. Miller believes they would benefit from even more time with an ELL teacher, but due to funding, the school only has 1 part-time ELL teacher to work with all ELL students. These 2 ELL students also have an IEP that requires heavy reading support. Unfortunately, Bolin is the only school in the district that does not have a literacy coordinator to help the lowest readers. In a journal by Vivian Ikpa, she researched how policies affect public school funding, and one point she makes is that budgetary constraints often constrain one's ability to deliver quality service to our students. This idea was directly supported in my interview, specifically when looking at the 2 ELL students with IEPs that require strong reading support. Budgetary constraints do not allow them to have a literacy coordinator that would strongly benefit not only these 2 students, but also other struggling readers. It is also important to note that Ms. Miller believes her 2 ELL students are at a 1st grade reading level, which only further supports why this school in particular would benefit from having a literacy coordinator, which could only happen with increased funding. Some people believe that school funding is not the only reason students fall behind. And while this is a true point, school funding isn't the only reason students may fall behind. It is a large reason. In an article by Ken Gannett, Ken investigates the reasons to why students in Australia have lower test scores than other countries such as Hong Kong and Canada. Gannett's findings suggest that improved performance is largely a matter of raising standards of the lowest performing schools and students. So basically, funding is not what causes schools as a whole to fall behind. While I do believe we need to increase student and teacher standards, after my experiences in major classes, clinicals, and interviewing Ms. Miller, I do not believe this is the end-all be-all to students falling behind and that school funding still plays a vital role. How can we expect students and teachers to raise their standards when they do not have the resources or support staff to do so? How can students who have fallen behind multiple grade levels in reading be expected to catch up without additional support? Students need better and more resources and staff, which can only come from increased funding to schools.